Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. In today's video, we're going to break down my favorite 410 target load. This is Winchester AA 410, 2.5 inch, 1200 FPS, half ounce of number 9 shot. And these are the AAHS shells, not the older AAs that were compression formed. They recently redesigned their box within the last year or so, and this one actually kind of looks cooler to me than the old one, which was just black and red. The white, black, and red looks, again, a lot cooler. Made in the USA. Doesn't have the specs off. The top of the box is the same as the front. The side of it is some warnings with the AA logo. The back of it is the interesting stuff. You can see how the shell is put together in theory, although we know that what's on the box or the 3D cutaway is not actually often what's in the shell, but we'll see. Hard hitting, we have alloyed lead shot with 6% antimony, so some decently hard lead. Tight patterns, AA wad technology. I have neither one of us have ever patterned one of these, but we have shot a lot. Consistent and clean burning, I guess that's talking about the powder. Yeah, primer and powder. Says best in class. Excellent reloadability. Now that's debatable because these hulls in particular, yes, they reload really well, but they are very easy to crush. The bottom of the box is the same as the top. Kind of weird that it's flip-flopped. I guess it isn't because, I don't know. Anyway, the last side of the box is more safeties. If you want to read anything, just pause it if this camera would focus. But yeah. Cool box. Today's snooze and drink combo is tray and care, which means 3 anchors, and Diet Pepsi. I actually really like Diet Pepsi. And we have Ethel out here today. Hey! There you go, now you can see her. I believe she's a Korat breed, which is kind of rare here in America. She does have the green ring around her eyes and the blue color. Yeah, we think she's a Korat, but don't know. And Cannon is right over there. Can't see her. I have 3 cats. And there's Daisy, the 3rd cat. She's a calico. And again, Cannon's right here, and Ethel is right there. So anyway, here's what the shell looks like. It is a 2.5 inch smooth plastic, no ribs, as you would expect with a AA or AAHS hull. We have a high brass, and this is actually brass, not brass-plated steel. A Winchester 209A primer, and this is not the copper-plated primer version. Some Winchester shells have a copper-washed primer instead of brass, and this one's brass. Anyway, the writing on it is very faded off. You can see it says 2.5 inch, 2.9. Yeah, it's really hard to read. That would have said AAHS on it. But these do have a 6-point crimp. I don't recall ever seeing 410 with an 8-point, but I do know that you can get the tooling to make 8-fold crimp 410 if you want to, even 5. This one isn't actually crimped the best. There is a little hole in the middle, but not big enough for even a tiny number 9 shot to fall out of. The issue with these is the entire box was like this. Listen. Hear that rattling? Yeah, every shell in this box was very loose like that. This is the last one left. We fired the entire box at some clays and actually done pretty well. Josh bought these for his kids to learn how to shoot with, and they did pretty well, I have to say. We taught them some, obvious gun safety stuff, showed them what the dangers are, and they actually fared pretty well. This one right here, whenever we were picking up his hauls, I found this one and I was like, now how in the world did that 3-inch hull get mixed up? And if you look at the bottom of it, some of you may be already guessing what happened here. The plastic tube actually separated from the base. I don't know how that happened, but it did. You can see the slight bottleneck in it. And no, this was not a reloaded hull or anything. That was straight right out of the box. Anyway, for a payload weight, we have 0.517, which is just over half an ounce. We might have 2 or 3, maybe 4 more pellets. And the shot itself is really, really nice looking, very shiny. very evenly round. I see no deformities. Let's take a better look at it. And there you go, guys. Again, really, really good looking shot. And this is number 9, by the way, if I didn't mention that, which for a target load, or clay load, I should say, number 9 in a 2.5-inch 410 is probably the way to go. Obviously, it's smaller than 7.5s or 8s. You get more pellets, and it doesn't take but one pellet with enough speed to break a clay. We were breaking them no problem at, I don't know, 20 yards up in the air. We were just hand throwing them and breaking them no problem. Here's our wad, and it is actually stitched. There is a stitching at the top and one right here in the middle, and we do have slits at the bottom to help the pellets expand better. Just like the LPC 50 wads, they also have them little slits at the bottom. Those are for, you can see the slit in the actual wad is cut right into that, and that is a hinge point to help the pellets or petals open up easier and more consistently. But yeah, we do actually have fairly thick wad petals. And this wad is actually decently rigid too. I would assume that these wads actually do produce pretty good patterns. We have never put one on paper though. But yeah, the wad seems okay, that's for sure. And for a charge, we have 14.8. It's probably 15. There is a couple flakes left in the hull that I could not get out. The wind is messing with it now, but it's 14.8, probably actually 15 grains. And it looks like this. It is a ball powder with a very slight yellow hue to it. And I know this is very hard to see. It's a tiny shell, and the camera doesn't really want to focus too well. But it is a straight wall with a, I don't know, medium height base wad. When people think AA HS hulls, or AA's in general, they automatically assume that all of them are tapered hulls. Well, the 410 and 28 gauge HS hulls are not tapered. The old CF compression forms, those were, these are not. They just have somewhat thick hull walls and a separate base wad, but it is a straight wall hull. But we have thousands of these hulls. Both of us reload them, and they go for 7 or 8 reloads before the hull actually starts to split, or it gets so charred up that it doesn't want to stay shut anymore. But that's the nature of 410. It's a very high pressure round, and the plastic kind of wears out faster than the same hull in other gauges. And if you didn't know, depending on powder choice, they can play a major part in hull life too. Little gun seems to do okay. But let's slap this back together and see if I can make it look presentable. I might actually put a little bit of filler in this wad just to bring up stack height a little to get a more even crimp. The shot is just barely below flush with the top of the wad, so a little bit of filler can't hurt. And here it is put back together. The crimp still has a little bit of a pinhole in the middle. I did add filler. Obviously, it's not rattling anymore, so that problem has been fixed. But again, still a pinhole, but actually has a little bit of a taper on it this time. So I call that better than out of the box. But anyway, guys, there is Winchester's AA 410 2.5-inch shell, 1200 FPS, half-ounce 9-shot. Pretty cool shell if I have to say so myself, but that's going to end this one here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.